Okay, I knew I had to have some way to clamp this to the body. This is the rain guard. This is the end that I cut off the other side there. Looking at this for a little while, trying to figure out how in the heck I'm gonna do this. What I did was grab a couple vice grips. Got these from Harbor Freight, just cheap ones. They work just great. I took a piece of metal plate and I figured out how far it had to be in to where it would get a hold of that gutter. And then that way I could clamp it to the body and push it against the body so it's a nice tight fit. One of the other tricks I kind of had to do was I had to use this as a filler. So it's something like this. Filler to get it pushed up. Because what it wants to do when you get to a certain point, the rain gutter wants to tilt away. When you clamp it down, the rain gutter wants to tilt away. So you got to force it in and keep it tight. So that's what I did. I ended up using, even against the body, I ended up going something like this just to help prevent, took a file, same thickness. It's just a little aluminum shim that I had some scrap metal around. Just to keep that rain gutter from tilting, that helped keep it in line and right up against the body. So that's what you want to do. How these will work to hold that in place. So this will go something like this. Now, remember, I welded a little piece of plate on there. You can see that, where I welded a little plate. And I made a little shim to go down inside there to pull it in. And basically, I put them right next to each other. Notice that this is straight, but the body curves. And it curves here. So I started here, and not at the very front. I started about here, got it kind of square, and then I gradually worked my way down. The nice thing is, when I did it this way, this was pinching a wide area, so I could slowly start to work the metal while it's cold and not heat it up. I'm not heating it up to a glowing red where then you can bend it and do whatever you want with it. I did it cold on the other side, and it worked out pretty slick. You just got to take your time and work through it. Hopefully this side comes out just as well. I got some more body damage work to work on, some dents to do. I will drill holes in the body for my spot weld locations, probably every 1.5 inches. Basically where the factory ones are is where I'm gonna do it, or were. And then the same there, you pinch it. It pinches down and it squeezes in. I also use along with this style here that I made, give me a better platform. I also use this one with these tabs, these swivel tabs on here, these little plates. That also helps to pull it in. The problem is when you use this one with these tabs, factory tabs, manufacturer tabs, on this outside edge, what it wants to do, it wants to curve, it wants to bend your edge. It wants to bend this edge in, and you don't want that, because when you do get this welded to the body, then this line here is gonna be all warped. It'll look like shit. It'll be hard to straighten. It'll just be difficult. So use that, just use a little bit of pressure. Don't make it so much where it's gonna bend and push this, but just kind of hold it in place, help hold it in place, and then slowly work your way around. I'll do a time-lapse video on this one. I'll try and do just your standard video showing the process of clamping this and moving it along. And I'll do it in segments, and I'll probably do this as one complete video for installing 1930, 1931 Ford Model A rain gutters. The guy that creates these, the guy that makes these, I found it on eBay. I haven't found it from any other manufacturer, or I should say retailer that's selling this stuff that I've seen. There might be somebody out there I just don't know about, but I found these on eBay. I will see if I can find the gentleman that I purchased them from and put his info in the bio on the video. So if somebody wants them, they can go to that gentleman and get them and support that guy. So, but really nice job on these rain gutters. I'm pretty impressed with them. That other one side went in pretty well. I did have some trouble with the thinner, the original Model A body sheet metal. It's thin. I kind of burned through in a couple spots. I had to fix it. Yeah, that's just part of it though. So, anyways, on to the time-lapse video. Working on this. I'm gonna pound out these dents, work on these dents, and see if I can get this as nice and clean and straight as possible. And we'll go from there. And hopefully it helps you on your Model A project. All right. Okay, tonight we're gonna start installing this drip rail. I already did one on the passenger side. I went through, marked the holes with a Sharpie where I wanted them, center punched each one. Then I came through and drilled them. So I got all the holes, because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna TIG weld the spots from the back side. Now, what I'm gonna do, I made these, I have two of them. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clamp the gutter in and slowly start at this one end. I'm gonna start a couple inches back from the very front. So about in this area here, and then try and make sure it's all lined up. And then slowly, I'm probably not gonna, I didn't add any heat to this other than the heat from the MIG weld, or excuse me, the TIG welding. So I'm not gonna heat it up glowing red and then bend it to shape and do all that. It's already got the one curve in it. Like I said before, this is a guy I got these off eBay. The guy made some really nice rain gutters for these 30 Model A coupes. I don't know why I said 32. So we basically start. I also made these little shims to slide in here. And what that does, because the gutter wants to tilt up, and it helps it lock down, and plus it gives me a little bit of space between this little lip right here, right there, that's along here. So this is how I did it. This is how I do. And let's get started. And what I will do is do kind of the standard video starting out, And then I will go to time lapse to finish it off, and then I'll finish off with kind of your standard video verbiage. When to finish. And that is about, this way it's correct. So when the gutter gets really out of line and you gotta straighten it out, just use the big old thumper. Just kidding. I like to just kind of use my rubber mallet and just kind of tap it. Man, getting old sucks. You know that? You gotta put these freaking readers on. Otherwise, everything's freaking blurry. Getting close, right? And then once I have it all lined up perfectly, how I feel like it's going to be, or the way it should, how do you describe that? So it all lines up and goes into place correctly. So it'll look factory. I do a couple welds, I move it, couple spot welds with the TIG. Then holds it in place. Then I move it a little bit and do it again, and then repeat and repeat. And what I'll do, I'll show just your regular video, and then we'll go to time lapse to finish it. And I'll show you the finished result when it's all done. It will probably take me an evening or two. Mother trucker, these little shims, they kind of... Okay. See, now I'm too far this way because I moved it. So that's where the rubber mallet comes in. Just give it a couple taps. That should do it right there. This first couple spot welds, super crucial. Because if it's off, the whole thing is going to end up being off. So kind of start at a balance point. Now I kind of start right here. It feels like a comfortable place to start. Because this is so there's so much extra here, I'm trimming after I'm done spot welding in place. So I will go along, do this whole piece here, and then I'll come back and do this section last, because then I'll come in and I'll pinch it, and then I'll pinch it down, weld it in place, cut the end off. So is what I'll do. And as I'm moving along here, this should, this is just, it's the nerve-wracking part. Just one little move, and it just So you want to be very careful to make sure you get this right where it needs to go. And that should just come right down in place. And this piece, once this is tacked in, you move to the next section. You're going to pull this down and you're going to push it in. You're going to pull it in with these vice grips. And then this should okay. One trick I did do on the other side. Oops. Once I have it kind of set in place where I want it, just to keep it from moving, I put this right underneath it. A third vice grip right underneath it. And I'm just trying to lock it in place. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, you'll notice if you use this one, the reason why I welded these little tongues, little tab on the vice grip, is because where the vice grip ends up, the stock vice grip ends up grabbing, it's gonna push my lip in right here, this factory lip that you don't want, that's on the roof, on the roof. So it'll smash it, and you don't want that. So these are same thickness file. Probably could have used this instead of the spacer here. Either way, but I wanted a shorter piece so I could work in small sections. I'm probably gonna have to put that in behind there because the vice grips are probably gonna want to twist up as I go further down the body. So you may not see that, but it'll be in the time-lapse video. But section. Okay. One little more tap because it wants to move real easy. Looks good here. That looks really good there. Okay. Next, spotting. One thing very important to do when you're welding, so you can weld, look up the ground. It does. What are you gonna do? Okay, as you notice, this is naturally getting hot on its own with the spot welds. You can see the hot spots, but this is coming into play just like I'm envisioning it should.